All right, hey there, good evening, it's Nancy coming at you. Let's get on to a really critical topic, and that being your ability to run your business. Much like the Navy runs their naval ships. So this is having to do with the recent near attack on the USS Chancellorsville in the Philippine Sea. So you may not follow the news, but that was a Russian destroyer came really close to hitting a USS warship. Yeah. So this is basically a little article that I tripped over in the, Wall Street Journal, and making a parallel to the regimens that the commander of the USS Chancellor implements to run his ship and how that translates into business. All right, so before I go on, make sure you go to ansiegmentor.com so you can join my leadership group. We also cover sales and marketing, which is my main deal. And so if you're into sales and marketing, definitely join me in my leader circle. So go to ansiegmentor.com. That is a private Facebook group. Okay, so let's dive in. So again, this is, if you followed the news, it was averting a near disaster of a Russian destroyer headed towards a USS naval ship. So basically, there was an interview with the commander, and he came in and brought incredible regimen into the operations of his ship. And then, so I'm just going to read some of the segments here from this. By the way, if you're watching this as a replay, write in #replay and any comments, observations, thoughts that you may have. So a crew in sync wins at war because it makes good decisions quickly and unconsciously with minimal oversight. So as I read through this article, I have to admit, I really thought about my own marketing team. We've been together for 12 years, online that is, and we move very fast. I mean, I've had people come in from corporate America and they're like, I've never seen anything like this. Nope, I bet you haven't. So anyways, we do move very quickly. But so in this commander, his name is Jeff Benson, he spent many months sharpening the weekly rhythm, okay? And the first new rule that he put into place, which I like, all of this just really resonates with who I am. So I'm like, yep, running a tight ship. I'm just not for the loosey-goosey. I like the regiments because it lessens the level of unpredictability that people deal with, which happens in business regardless. And so the more you can mitigate, decrease unpredictability, the better. Because then you're going to be able to have those reserves used for smarter, better things than people who run a schlocky ship. You know what? I'm just going to say this much. So I've been in the online space for many years. I have seen so many companies come and go. It's unbelievable. And almost without exception, the reason they failed was because there was a lack of leadership. And I can always see it coming. And it's not hard to see. And typically it's because there's disorder, lack of organization, levels of chaos. And it's like, you know, no sooner have I built a funnel to promote said company, and we're just cranking it out, and then I see the leadership fall apart of the company that I'm promoting. I'm like, oh my gosh, it never ends. That's kind of one of my, it's just painful. And so these things that I'm going to talk about in here, these are the telltale signs that are missing, or hallmarks, I should say. So the first new rule that this commander put in place was it's easy to cancel an event. So we tried to avoid making anything optional. So, meaning just really trying not to do that, because then that would wreck the rhythm. So it's putting the rhythm more as a priority than, well, this thing came along. Well, we really should cancel. No, we shouldn't. Let's maintain regularity. Let's maintain our systems, okay? He also believes the key to any effective battle rhythm is punctuality. For 6 months, he cajoled and even scolded his staff until every meeting started on time. Now, I have to admit, reading this, because this is from the military, I'm kind of surprised that they were even having to deal with timeliness, because I thought there was the revelry, you know, you guys know. And then they show up, they're out of bed and they're all at attention. So I was like, really? How could you actually struggle with meetings not starting on time? So I go back to my days of running a sports gym. We always started on time. Like, there was something seriously wrong if we didn't start on time. And it was for this reason. People paid good money to send their kids to my gym, and I had a duty. I was duty bound. Class started at whatever was listed in my program, the brochure, and ends at thus and thus. Of course, to me that would seem like a no-brainer. Start, finish, timeliness. Because these parents are dropping their kids off, they're picking them up. So that was the way I ran my ship for my gym. And I would have some coaches who would be, you know, they would be shooting the breeze and this and that, to be sitting on the floor. I said, no. When we're teaching, we're standing up, we are alert, and we are 100% focused on our students. And we don't do our socializing, chit-chat stuff when we need to be starting class on time. I didn't say it like this, but it was just basically made very clear how I run my ship. Same with my team right now. We have regularly scheduled meetings. They're very systematic. There's a process to all of them. And I don't like hosting meetings for the sake of hosting meetings. I don't. They have to have meaning. They have to have a purpose. They have to have a functionality. But truly, the rhythm of those meetings is so important. And we have different levels and layers within my company. I'm not going to elucidate all those, but basically to say they all have a very specific function, and the frequency of which these different layers meet all are relevant to where they fit in the order of importance in the company. There's a lot of structure. I can't run a loosey-goosey ship, but trust me, I've seen it. The gal who took over the gym that I had been running, within about a matter of 5 months, it fell apart. And I had run it for almost 12 years. It doesn't take long for field leadership to, like, you know, the thread in a piece of cloth, when you pull that, it just all unraveled, and there went the program that I'd built for 12 years. Unraveled. And she was really, really loosey-goosey at running her gym. I was appalled. Like, for one, safety is paramount. And that's why all the more punctuality, regulating things, systems, etc., because you want a safe environment there. Anyways. So now in this article, they shift the focus towards CEOs and making this parallel between how the commander of this ship, with having a Russian ship heading right towards it, the U.S. ship had to swing out of the way. They had to be on the ready, okay? And just like a level of what we call automaticity, which I'm really big on. Read that book by, it's called, oh, shucks. I've seen the guy speak. All right, I'm drawing a blank, but it was about, he had worked in the sports world and world-class athletes, and then they took that in the business world. And automaticity is the retrieval mechanism when you make one move, like coming in the net in tennis, and then when you retrieve, you come back, and your automaticity locked into that positioning, mental state, ready to move into your game again. So if coming from the sports world, I can totally relate to that. And the same is true for business. Retrieval behavior, retrieval mechanism to put you into that state via a level of automaticity. You don't have to think anymore. It's automatic. Okay? So these are it ends up being 4 traits. So I see the first 2 here. Relative to what we call reliable CEOs. Are you known for that? Before I go into that about CEO, in your standard day-to-day behavior, are you known for being reliable? almost without exception, that was singularly the biggest factor that I would note as I was working with other companies where like, oh, shoot, they're not reliable. Dang it. So it came to a head with a situation last year where it was like the person would say, yep, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. But my brain says, okay, he's going to do X, Y, Z. But he didn't do X, Y, Z. And you see, business is built on a level of, the greater the level of predictability, the more you can mitigate risk. It's kind of the nature of business. So when you got a person who's saying they're going to do X, Y, Z and they don't, so what I found myself doing was I was having to be schizophrenic in my decision-making processes. Okay, so if he does actually follow through, hi there, Tira. You pride yourself on being reliable. Yes, it's so important. So anyways, this gentleman, he would say he was going to do X, Y, Z, but he steadily but surely developed a pattern that the average, the likelihood of him not fulfilling on it, like rose to 70%. And it got to a point where I was going to have to run the company in a schizophrenic mode of, well, let's see here. There's about a 10% chance he'll actually do what he said he would, but really 90% that he won't. And it kind of hit me. It's like, this is nuts. I cannot run my company this way. It wasn't internal, by the way. It was external, known as a JV, joint venture. And I'm like, done. Done, done, done. I am not going to work with someone like this. So as soon as you see someone with a lack of reliability, it's got to be a shooting red flag, a flare in the sky, hazard, danger, avoid. Kind of like what happened to this warship, right? I am not kidding you. That was a big learning lesson. Also, these kind of personalities, they tend to come off very braggadocious from the onset. You know, and I mean this respectfully, but I'm just got to say, these things have happened over the years. You know, they're like, so the man, you know, chest thumping, cock strutting kind of stuff, like, look at me. And it's just like, when you see that stuff, beware, okay? Because usually that is lacking, it is overcompensation for insecurities, okay? Just be cautious is what I gotta say there. So, because I gotta tell you, I have done many, many JVs over the last 12, 15 years. I have, it feels like a lifetime experience with this kind of stuff. And it's just, you know, be cautious. All right, so I know there was another point in here about, okay, this is about Malali. Okay, now I know there's a second point in here. I should have highlighted. I really apologize here. Ah, here it is. Okay, so of the CEOs, two qualities, reliability and consistency. So they got to be reliable. They got to be consistent. All right, and the other is 75% of these reliable CEOs earned high marks for planning and organization. They got their poop together. You kind of get what I'm saying, right? They got it together. Like when they show up, they got it together. And I think what irritates me is like when I show up for something, I'm going to show up prepared. Otherwise, I look at it, you're wasting my valuable time. I'm serious and focused about what I'm doing, and I don't want to work with people who don't show up prepared, right? Does that make sense? I see I'm getting some likes and some loves here. So let me recap. So this is a survey, a research that they did on the work habits of high-performing CEOs. Two traits rank surprisingly high: reliability and consistently. So reliability means man of their word, woman of their word. To me, that is your highest level of currency. You don't have that dependability of your word, to me, you ain't nothing, right? Because when you really look at it, life is a series of transactions that are based off of mutual commitments and agreements. In fact, there's a book called The Four Agreements, and that's life. It's a series of agreements. Okay, you'll show up at what time, and we'll meet at XYZ. Okay, great, and you make this agreement. That's kind of, life is just a series of those. But in business, the difference is those take on a transactional money-making aspect to it. So it has more import to it than, well, I was going to meet my girlfriends and we were going to go shopping, we were going to do blah, blah, blah. Okay, girlfriend doesn't do the deal, and you go, okay, well, maybe next time I'm not going to meet with her for shopping because she doesn't show up like she said she would. But I got to tell you, when it comes to money, making money in business, you're now on a different ball field, right? You're now on a different ball field, which is the ball field of doing really well in business. So you want the players on your ball field to all be running under these same premises and guidelines and foundations. And if they're not, they're kind of still in the Pee-wee League. And I look at it as, okay, they're still in the sandbox. God bless you, love you, but I gotta move on. Honestly, I just see it that way, because maybe it's because I raised children. And so it's like, and I'm really serious about this. If I haven't seen that these character attributes have been developed before I meet them, and we're talking about doing business together, and they don't have these attributes, I am so not interested in coaching them through to having what they should need in order to do business with me, whether in a business partnership or a joint venture. It's just like, we're done. I'm sorry you missed out on these vital growing up skill sets, which I'm just going to say. I don't want to say we're seeing it more and more, but sort of, and they're just missing some core aspects in their, just what ought to be in their personal development, right? And I just don't have time for it. So, I mean, really, because that's, at the end of the day, we only have so much time when running our business. Okay, so back to these CEOs then was also planning an organization. 75% had earned high marks for that. So let's recap. Thank you, I like that, Tara, I really appreciate that. So the recap, if you want to write it down, reliability is ranked number 1. Number 2 is consistency. Like they know they can count on you. You're just there, you're rowing the boat. You don't, like, oh man, she's not rowing the boat anymore. When they look to you as the CEO, well, wait a minute, looks like the boat stopped. She tucked the paddles in. She's not paddles in the boat. She's not working the boat anymore. No, you are responsible to keep rowing that boat, okay? They're looking for that, consistency, and then planning an organization. Those are the 3 attributes. And so I think it's pretty awesome advice. So they give a little example of, his name is Mr. Mulally. So when he came into Ford company, Ford cars, trucks, and etc., he took that company and improved upon it by $45 billion in sales under his tenure, because he had all 4 of these components. So, you know what? Character does matter. These kind of skill sets matter. Now, here's what I want to say in closing. Go to ansigmentor.com and you'll end up at my Leader Circle group. And then you can join me in my group, right? And tomorrow, at the time of this Facebook Live, I'm doing an overview of the book, Born to Build. Born to Build by Jim Clifton, CEO of Gallup Organization, right? And he's got an online assessment in the back of the book, but basically I'm going to give a recap from the book, pull out the best stuff, and you're going to be doing some rating of yourself relative to the top 10 personality traits that lend themselves towards business success. And then through their assessment, you're going to land in 3 different categories as a builder: conductor, rainmaker, or expert. One of those 3, according to this book, that's how they do it. So it's conductor, rainmaker, or expert. And I'm going to share with you the results of my executive team in my company. And you'll see kind of the diversity of our personalities, or how we mapped out as a builder, and then how that can benefit a team. Great, awesome, Tara. So go to ansigmentor.com. And you'll have to knock on the door to get access into the group. It's a private group, and we'll let you in, all right? Okay, so thank you for all your comments there, Tira. It's been fun working with you. And anyone else who's watching after the fact, write in #replay. Any comments, feedbacks? I thought it was a fascinating article because, and this is from Wall Street Journal, this is of the Navy, you know, because really business can feel like, oh, you're in the group. Yay! Boom, in the house. Business can feel like a series of skirmishes, meaning you're going to hit challenges. And if anyone hasn't forewarned you that there's going to be some challenges, they haven't done a good job. You are going to hit some challenges, and that just strengthens your resolve and your problem-solving capabilities, and that's just a part of life as well. So it's all good. All right, thanks for listening and watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's book club study session, and that is at 1 p.m. CT, Wednesday, June, I don't have my calendar, 20th? It's on a Wednesday. All right, so till then, look forward to seeing y'all there. All right, bye-bye.